Hello, chat. How we doing? We wide. One. Not too bad. Nice. I've got a slut. What should we do today? Death Stranding? Overwatch? Everyone's demanding marbles. I still haven't downloaded that yet. On this PC. I'll tell you what, if the mods know what link I can download it on, I can download it on stream and we can play marbles. Because I know it's called something else, but I keep forgetting the name of it. Because it's not called marbles. It's a portent of doom. Oh, okay, Steve. Well then, I will, thank you, Steve. I will do it. I will, if I'm signed into Steam, that is, because... Am I signed into Steam? Updating Steam. Show yourself, the mob is waiting. You're making it scarier. You're making me even more disinclined to do so. I have this thing called delayed decision making. It's a symptom of ADHD. It's also called procrastinating or not adulting. Don't touch my toes, bitch. Don't touch my hose. So, marbles on stream, marbles on stream. Okay. Oh, I found it. Okay. Play game, create shortcut. Yes, I agree. There we go. Well, it's downloading. I guess we can play marbles today. So for those of you who don't know, I have a hangover. Well, it's not really a hangover, but it's a hangover for me. If you're wondering why, check out yesterday's VOD. But yeah. I have this thing where, because I know I'm running late, I try to do my makeup and then Terrence fucks it up by really screwing up my eyeliner. Like, really screwing it up. Like, the kind of screw up that takes like half an hour to fix. So that's become a little bit of a problem lately. So I'm just trying to mend that as best as I can so I don't look weird. But it may come to a point where I just can't wear eyeliner anymore, which would suck. Who's Terrence, your bunny? I'd be really impressed if my rabbit could mess up my eyeliner. That would be impressive. No, it's what we call my Tourette's. So, I think, have I downloaded it? Nope, but it's still downloading. Do you have you tried RuneScape? I don't remember, I don't think so. What would happen if a human drank an entire bottle of rubbing alcohol? My first guess would be death. That would be my first guess. I would recommend not doing that, because living is cool. And as far as we know, it's highly probable that you only get to do it once. Do you like breakfast? Imagine Peter waiting patiently until you're doing your liner, and then when you're on the wing, boots your arm. He's the kind of person who would totally do that. I think about cats. Okay, I'm desperately trying to fix this. Because it sucks. Please. I also didn't have time for breakfast. Got any ideas for breakfast yet? Breakfast! I've got like two things left after this. Because I also haven't brushed my hair. I've just realized. I'll kill you! Press 1 if you saw last night's stream. Would you like some dick? Crepes? I don't think I've ever had crepes for breakfast. Holy shit! You guys don't sleep. Well, did you enjoy it? Yes! Well, that's pretty awesome. I don't remember as much of it as I should. What did you like about it? You didn't answer the same questions over and over and we got to chill. Well, that's pretty cool. I like it when I don't do that too. I find that you guys really help with that these days though, because, you're all sluts. Eyes of Cain, thank you so much for the 17-month, dude. You're a slut. I kind of feel like, you guys spare me a lot because you explain for me, although sometimes I still have to answer because people explain for me wrong. You have so many followers, but why do they not watch your stream? Well, that's really common of most people with a lot of followers. You'll find that a lot of people with like 1 million followers will have like 1,000 or 2,000 viewer average or some shit. Because because people have busy lives and they come and go and they watch streams for a little bit and then they stop watching streams for a little bit. You know, people don't consistently watch Twitch. And sometimes people watch, like people mean to watch but don't. Like they want to have time to watch streams but they actually don't have time to watch streams. So they follow a bunch of people that they've heard of, but they never really hop in. The amount of times that I suck, the amount of times that the amount of times that I read, I've been meaning to catch a stream forever, I'm so glad I finally caught a stream, you know, it's quite normal. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with like every single person who watches the stream is like every single person who follows watches a stream. That would be kind of crazy. Like I've never seen someone with 100,000 followers who gets like 100,000 viewers on average, you know? Sometimes it happens when someone first hits the scene, but after you've been around for like a year or two, it definitely doesn't. Like sometimes like the amount of followers is higher. Like, sorry, it's really morning. The amount of people who view the stream can be a lot higher and be a lot higher percentage of your followers in the beginning, but it usually fizzles down for everyone. I mean, I've seen people with 2 million followers who get a viewer average of about 1,000 people. So, yeah. Someone's saying it's mostly due to time constraints. I could believe that. Do you want to kill me? It's 9 AM. What am I doing now? I'm doing something. It's your mother! Hello, therapist. Did your stream go well? So we're gonna do just chatting and marbles and probably Death Stranding, maybe a bit of Dick, maybe a bit of Overwatch too. Does that sound good, guys? I'm just gonna go brush my hair real quick. I will BRB. I'm late to the party. Would you suck? Would you fuck? Do you like whamming? Whamming yawn. Okay, everything's cool. I got everything done. Thank you for waiting, guys. Actual marble stream, Pog. Pogger! No, Pog you! Sorry. I've spent 8 hours fucking. The shoe and head was so good, can't wait for the Marilyn Monroe. I don't know why so many people liked that. Like, why did that make so many people so happy? Van Zam, thank you so much for the 10-month, buddy. Guys, what's your biggest pet peeve about streamers? What will instantly make you change to another channel? Like if you're watching and this happens, you yeet. Tell me. Best answer summons me. I'll turn on the camera. Honestly, poor singing. Oh, then I hope nobody asks me to sing. Oh, my rabbit's trying to escape. When they call me man and I'm clearly a girl. When they say stupid LED light setups behind them. When they have stupid LED lights set up behind them. When they fake appreciation. When it's me, the world, when a lot of streamers think the world revolves around them. When they blame their teammates for losing. Having stick-in sex. When they don't set a nice vibe. When they keep being late. When they vape and think it's cool. And they constantly run adverts. Alright. I kind of feel like those were some really good answers. So, you did it, chat. You summoned me. Wow! Hello. Thank you so much for waiting. Clickbait titles also. What's a clickbait title to you? Huh? Pog you. No, Pog you. Shazam. Top 10 reasons you should watch this video. Yeah, very clickbait. What's in the tank behind you? A really cool spider. And her babies. You drank absinthe and survived. I didn't actually have any absinthe whilst I was streaming last night. I just had ginger wine. Subtle Boomer, thank you so much for the 200 bits. Whoa, we're on a hype train. Thank you, guys. Can we see the spider? No, I don't want to disturb her. She's going to starve to death.
How time flies, 17 months already and hoping for many more.
Thank you, Paulinus. I really appreciate that, bud. I'm glad you're still happy to be here somehow. Did you slut? Did you slut? Do you what? The spider is going to starve to death protecting her babies. There's nothing I can do about that. She's actually a wild spider that took up residence in there. So what happened was I was cutting brambles to give to my stick insects, and that particular spider, she's really pretty. She's bright green, and she has see-through legs and see-through bits of her body and a red stripe down the middle of her butt. And she's really rounded, and basically she has a clutch of eggs and she's protecting them. She'll do that until she dies. She's not going to move. It's part of their natural cycle. They just protect their babies until they die. So I found her in the corner of that cage, and I haven't cleaned it out even though I've moved the stick insects out of it, just because I want her to have time to have her kids, and I'll release them out front where I found the brambles. So at least I get to make sure that her and her kin get to continue on. Can't you feed her? She's a bit small. I don't know that I could find prey that would be small enough for her, but also it's not, I don't even know if she'd take it, but even if she did, I don't kill animals. I'm of the opinion that in this circumstance, she was gonna die either way. That's what she's decided to do. But if I were to intervene in terms of animal cruelty, I think it's much more cruel to let that loads of animals die than it is to just let one. And seeing as spiders and other insects that she'd eat have an equal emotional capacity, I kind of feel like doing the least harm is to not intervene in this specific circumstance. You know she would eat you if she could, right? That's such a weird thing that people say. I don't understand the point of it, because there are people who say a cow would eat you if they could, and that's an outright lie. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really matter. It's neither here nor there. There are a lot of humans who, if it was legal, would eat you if they could. I still hang out with humans. You can buy feeder bugs on Amazon, I know, but that's still killing loads of animals just to preserve one, the life of one, which doesn't seem logical in this specific circumstance. Breakfast. Hello, Buff. Thanks for the tip, buddy. Elson, cheers for the prime. So I'm guessing you wouldn't have a pet snake. No, I wouldn't, for many reasons. In part because the reptile industry is fucking sick. As an animal rescuer and having had to do a lot of rescues in this country, I'm absolutely furious with the reptile industry.
I won't be able to stick around much today, but hope you'll have a wonderful stream and a wonderful day. Smile.
Thank you. Just for that, buddy. So there are several kinds of breeders in the UK. The mainstream breeders who breed reptiles for pet shops tend to keep them in a drawer this size by this size, and they will have like loads of snakes just coiled up in them, and regardless of whether or not they get on or whether it's safe, they'll just take one male and one female and just put them in a drawer together, and sometimes they'll kill each other. They spend their entire lives barely ever experiencing anything. They're given just enough to eat and just enough space to exist, and they spend their lives in misery just to provide eggs so that the person who's breeding them can profit, and then they sell them to pet stores, and that could be the entire life of a lot of different reptiles. And then there are at-home breeders. I've met many of those, and they will produce huge clutches of eggs, sell off as many as they can. They'll go, I check every single home to make sure they go to a good place because I'm such a good breeder. And then you actually go and see that, you know, they don't do any checkups, or even if they do, they just meet up with them once and then maybe friend them on Facebook. And like so many of these reptiles don't make it to their first year because they give them to inexperienced people, or they give them to people who buy them for their kids who are like 7 or 8 and don't have the experience to keep them alive. And so many of these are just, you know, dying for profit, just horribly and slowly. And so from that perspective, I just don't condone breeding, and I think it's really fucked up. I also think that there are a lot of species of reptile that are not social, do not form social bonds. In the wild, they would live a solitary life. And being kept in a box as a decorative item and a strange and exotic animal to make someone seem interesting is a fucked up thing to do to an animal that can't actually get a reciprocal bond out of you. Like a dog can love you, but there are many species of reptile and insects and things that can't bond with you, that don't bond with you, and benefit in no way whatsoever for having been put in captivity. So whilst some reptiles can bond with you, most can't. The solitary ones, the unsocial ones can't. And I kind of feel like holding them captive against their will is kind of fucked up when they can't love you back. But also, on top of that, a lot of people who have a confirmation bias intentionally misconstrue certain kinds of behavior as affection that aren't. Like sometimes reptiles will cuddle up to you, not because they like cuddling you, but because you are a source of heat, much like their heat mat. And so you are a very comfortable place to sit, but they may not even recognize you as a sentient being, or if they do, it's not about who you are, but the heat you provide. And so people go, my snake loves me, it's not me, because you see, sometimes they snuggle with me. And it's like, yeah, you're a heat source. That doesn't mean it's okay to condemn someone to a life in a glass box when they'd migrate for thousands and thousands of miles in the wild. There's nothing you can do to create a comparative space and life to the one that they'd have in the wild. And so from this perspective, because they're not social mammals that can love you back and really play and engage a lot of the time, I just genuinely think that it's better to get a pet that can love you back. It's better to get a pet that can free roam and doesn't have to live in a box. And it's better not to buy animals that either get stolen from the wild and decimate the wild populations, get sent on planes and die on planes, or are bred in just the most horrendous conditions, and are part of an industry where literally thousands of reptiles have to die just for one of these animals to find you specifically, the good owner. So yeah, in all, I think it's selfish and fucked up to breed reptiles at this time. I don't think we're a developed enough species to do it responsibly, and I don't condone the reptile industry whatsoever. But also a lot of people buy them just to feed them alive to other animals, and buy them just to watch them eat animals alive. So there are people who get really titillated by seeing captive animals get eaten alive, and that is not nature. You see, in the wild, a prey animal can have the chance to escape, and it's down to them and their survival skills whether they do. In captivity, it's just a pure death sentence. You put them in a box, they are condemned to death with that reptile. And in those circumstances, it's quite often domesticated animals that are put in that box who don't feel shock and fear. So quite often I've had to come to call-outs and things where a rat has burst their way out of the side of a snake's belly because they didn't go into shock shock or anything, because they're bred to be very tame. They're not as frightened in general. And so because they didn't go into shock or fear, they chewed their way out of the animal that they were eaten by. And so it's horrendously cruel, risky, and fucked up on many levels to live feed to domesticated animals with domesticated animals. And so knowing all of these things, I just don't think that people should be selling reptiles in the UK. I think that the amount of pain and death that has to happen just for one person to get one and do well, there has to be like 20, 30 other owners who fuck up and really let their reptiles down in many ways and end up killing them. I kind of feel like it's just not worth it. Yeah. So because I'm very, very passionate about animals and because I genuinely care about them, especially reptiles, I don't put them in a glass box. And I kind of feel like a lot of people are really cringy. Have you ever met this guy? I don't know, there's this stereotype of the guy who has a lot of piercings, a lot of tattoos, has a lot of like punky, gothy stuff in their house and everything, and swears down that he's really interesting and so crazy, and you know, that he's just so wild and, you know, so interesting, and he has loads of reptiles because he's just so interesting, because, you know, just having a cat would be boring. But, you know, usually these people that try so desperately to be different and interesting, I'm not saying all goths are like this, just as a disclaimer, I'm not saying all punks are like this. I know wonderful goths and punks, but some people out there trying so desperately to be interesting that they tack these unks onto their personality because they're insecure about being boring. And sometimes getting a reptile isn't about loving reptiles, it's just about having a pet that's slightly different. And sometimes people try to use it as a tack on to their personality, and it's not even about caring about reptiles, it's just about seeming interesting. And I hate that the most. I found so many people that got in way over their head because they wanted to seem interesting, and getting a hamster would be too boring, and then they have like an iguana that owns their house that's too big to control, and they're just like, fuck, someone save me, you know? So yeah, I kind of feel like
Would you consider playing Fall Guys? I think you can guess just by the title why I think it would be a good game for you. It's basically Jump King Battle Royale. Looks really fun though.
Well, that's pretty cool. Maybe I should look into it. Thanks for the suggestion, Marachi. Status symbol pets are kind of desperate behavior. I agree. But yeah, I genuinely do care about animals, and I'm really passionate about it. Maybe this isn't an interesting conversation, but to me, I kind of feel like I can't stress enough, if you've never had a pet before, get a mammal. Don't start with reptiles. Research the reptiles that you want, and research how they're bred, how they're bought, how they're got for your specific country. Because chances are, if you really care about them, you probably wouldn't buy them if you knew how they're obtained for the pet industry. Good people tend to get animals that they can be a benefit to and genuinely have a good contribution to their lives. And it's much harder to do that with a reptile, given how the pet trade is right now. So serious talk, if you can, don't get reptiles. Have you ever watched Tiger King? It's a great showcase of show pets. Yes, I have. I have watched Tiger King. And you know what's really interesting? So many people really jumped very eagerly to accuse Carol Baskin of doing certain things. But I'd be so fucking wary of the way that stuff is presented in the media. Because everyone thrives on gossip, and very, very little verification of facts ever happens in these sorts of shows. And so things can very easily and very quickly get distorted. As someone who's been a streamer for 2 years, I don't even get one iota of the level of attention and rumor spreading that people on TV and the public eye get. And people have made up so much shit about me that's just taken as fact. Like, there are so many random things that people say about me on the internet that just people think are just true now. So be so careful. There is such a big difference between what people want to believe and the truth. How do you think we should try to preserve polar bears? So at this stage, as we've decimated their habitat, I think it needs to be a two-phase system where we're providing food and a safe area for them to live, where we don't persecute them for just trying to survive. Because at the moment they're coming into inhabited areas, they're mingling with humans, they're raiding trash, and because they're very scary and can be potentially very dangerous to humans, people are killing them. But the thing is, we started killing them first. We took away their habitat, we melted the ice they need to go hunting on, and as a result, you know, we are making them desperate enough to come and look for other food sources and then punishing them for taking them. It's kind of like putting a bunch of cookies on a plate in the front garden and then shooting at anybody who comes and tries to eat one. So basically, as a result, I genuinely do think we should be having designated areas, very large designated areas, where we're providing a food source and keeping them alive and sustaining them until we can re-establish their natural habitat. We need to be reducing the effects of global warming. We do need to be reducing that impact, and we need to as a point of urgency, because not just for their survival but for our own. So basically from that perspective, yeah, I think it's our duty, seeing as we are the reason that they are under threat, to make sure that their species survives while we unfuck our damage to their habitat. We owe it to them and we owe it to ourselves. David, dude, thank you so much for the 4-month, bud. It's Daddy. I see a lot of people asking my opinion on PETA. I'm not even going to touch that. Fuck that. I mean, I'm not going to cause loads of arguments and chat over something like that. It's not worth it. Breakfast. Could the spider get out and go hunt if it tries? Yes, the spider can. The spider just won't choose to. She's protecting her eggs. It's her natural instinct to sit on them until she dies. So she would have done that out in my front garden, and there'd have been nothing I could do. There'd have been prey that walked by and she would have ignored it. It's not that she can't get prey, it's that it's her choice not to go and hunt anymore. Are breeders okay provided that you know them personally? No, I don't think that breeders are okay. So, for example, rabbit breeders. In the wild, a rabbit will bond with their family and live with them for the rest of their life in the warren. They'll care and they'll build social bonds. So the reason why we feel attached to our family is the same reason that other animals do. Kin selection is a form of instinct. That emotional bond you have with your kin is a a natural instinct. And the reason why is because you're genetically similar to them, and scientists theorize that if you help the survival of your aunties, uncles, nieces, mother, father, all of these people, and they manage to procreate as a result, then because you have similar genes, you are in a roundabout way ensuring the survival of your own genes. But I just think that altruism exists, love exists, and deep bonds exist socially. But anyway, regardless of the evolutionary factors, the same apply and the same benefits apply to small hairy dicks, to rabbits and other bonding animals. And so intentionally getting someone pregnant and then selling all of their kids is a fucked up thing to do. If you genuinely care for someone, you don't do that to them. Also, there are these racks where they tie down dogs so that they can't escape, so that they can be mated. If you care about your dog, you don't do that to them. Rape trauma causes learning difficulties in rats. It's proven to cause enough trauma to cause learning difficulties in rats. Social animals have a huge neurochemical disincentive for involuntary mating, and so it can be very highly emotionally distressing, but it is industry standard in many countries. And so there are many factors to breeding that just make it something that people who genuinely care about animals don't do. You'll find that most people who do rescue work, most people who have ever volunteered in shelters and stuff would never become a breeder. Once you're genuinely invested in the welfare and happiness of an animal, you just don't breed them. That is not something you can ethically do. Selling someone's kids is not something you do to someone you care about.
Bruv, what time is it where you're at? I'm sitting in bed and it's 3 a.m.
Slater Base, hello. It's 9 in the morning. What's your opinion on dogs from a pound? I love it when people do go and get rescue animals. I think that's what people who genuinely care about animals do, because when you buy shelter animals die, there are loads of animals waiting in shelters for you to love them, and in kill shelters they get killed if they're not adopted. And so whilst you're paying someone to breed more and more and throw more and more of these animals into the world, there are already so many waiting for love. So yeah, I'd recommend, if you want to fill your life with an animal, if you care about their breed, you don't deserve one. Because if their looks matter to you more than their happiness, if you're more concerned with the way it looks to you than actually going and helping someone in need, then you don't care about animals enough. So if you're like, oh, I want a pug specifically, so I have to go to a breeder, you see, then you're getting a pet for you. And that's not a good reason. Also, specialist breeds tend to be really unhealthy. So if you want an animal to suffer and have terrible health conditions just so they look cute enough for you, you probably shouldn't have an animal because you don't care about animals enough. Like, these are kind of like, I hate to be so blunt, but after having done rescue work for so many years, I'm really no bullshit with animals. I'm really no bullshit with it. I've been working with animals since I was 4. I've been doing rescue work, yeah. Real Aspie, it's awesome that you adopted your puppy. That's amazing. But yeah, I started caring about small animals, and I started, developing an affinity for them when I was really young. I was not exactly in a great position in my childhood. I experienced a lot of really dark things, and I kind of felt like I was always at the mercy of the big people, that they always had a control over my life, and they always tended to let me down, and I didn't have enough control over my life to make myself happy and safe. And when I looked across at the animals I was surrounded by at the time, I could see that they were in exactly the same position as I was. Their entire fate was decided by someone who didn't necessarily care about their happiness or welfare. And so when I saw an animal in trouble, I rescued them, and I never stopped. So it started when I was 4, and it's continued right to this day, and I don't think I'll ever stop. I think it's really, really rewarding, but I kind of feel as well that it's the reason why I'm not afraid anymore. I used to have a social phobia, I used to be agoraphobic, I used to be highly depressed, and when I started caring about animals and building better lives for them, I became grateful to exist. I was thrown into so many situations because I was so passionate about saving these animals that I didn't care what I had to endure, and so when I was thrown into social situations that terrified me, I kept at it because I didn't care about the people or what they thought of me. I cared about saving these animals. And so I had to go and spend time with people even though I was terrified of them. And I genuinely, that exposure therapy helped me to progressively get more and more confident. But I also became grateful to exist because I knew that my existence meant the survival and freedom and safety of loads of different animals and their children and their children's children for many, many generations to come. And it won't matter what bank account I had or what my name was. My name will be forgotten in 100 years or less. But the animals that have gotten to live because of what I do, and their kids and their kids' kids may well be passing on their genes for another 1,000 years. And so I feel genuinely like this really resonates as an important thing to do, and I feel good about it, and I don't feel like I've ever wasted time when I do it. So yeah, I'm really passionate about animals, and I'm really blunt about it too. And that includes humans. Humans are animals to me too. So I've done charity work for humans as well, and I deeply, deeply care about things like mental health, sex education, people's rights, and all that sort of thing. I think that freedom is really, really important. And yeah, I kind of feel like that's how I ended up being really invested in doing good and altruism. And I believe in altruism. There are so many people who feel really vulnerable and scared and shaken up by their first bad experience with humans. So they'll like get betrayed by someone or lied to by someone, and they'll be like, humans are shit, everyone's out to get you, you can't show weakness because people will jump on you like hungry wolves and eat you up, and it's so scary, and I'm just gonna live alone and have a cat because people are bad. And it's like this kind of like, I fell off my bike once, so all bikes are bad kind of mentality. I'm a back on the bike kind of person, and I ride them. So basically, because I've done all this work where it's felt shit, like I've gone out into horrible weather, I've risked my life, I've fallen off cliffs, I've been beaten, kicked, choked, I've had people try to run me over, I've had people run my friends over, I've seen so many horrible things. Going out there because I've been called out to situations where people are still abusing the animal at risk, and people don't like it when you intervene or point out that they're breaking the law, things like this. And so sometimes it's been scary and sometimes it's been hard, and in those moments it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good at all to save an animal. It really didn't. I woke up some mornings at like 4 o'clock in the morning like, oh man, I don't want to do this, and I'd do it anyway. And I would come home tired and exhausted and fucked, and it would interfere with my life. I would earn less and less money. It would interfere with my business, and I'd still do it. And it didn't make me feel good about myself. It didn't change my view of myself. I've been doing this for years, I don't feel like it's one of those things I have to keep doing in order to deserve living and things like that. So I believe in altruism. I believe in the goodness of people because I became my own example of that. I was like, I can't be the only one who is kind and wants to see good regardless of the cost to myself. I can't be the only person who, even when there's no benefit, no status, nothing, can still have this overwhelming desire to see people safe whenever I have the ability to influence that safety and that happiness. And so I believe in altruism because I have been altruistic. And I think that having faith in humanity and feeling comfortable and loving and feeling good about existing and being a human, feeling good about humans existing and not seeing humanity as an awful species, at its core, making me happier was about being altruistic and having the chance to prove to myself that good people are out there. Because when you can't find good people people, when you're in the dark, when you're so alone, when the only people you know are a horrible influence on your life, you can find strength by being the example you need to see. You can find solace knowing there must be good people out there if you can consistently be a good person. That's all it takes to hold out hope, and that's what I did until I found wonderful people, and here I am. So yeah, I think that there was a huge amount of importance to me doing this kind of work. It saved me, it helped me, it pulled me through, and it made me fall in love with my species and appreciate being alive. But it also gave me a chance to do beautiful things for others, and I will never regret a single animal that I saved. Are your ideas similar to an anti-natalist philosophy? I don't think so. Being a good person, others sees this as a weakness. What do you think about this? I think that insecure...
I'm in the 7th hour of my trip and I think I already peaked. But what you're talking about is amazing and your tics are seriously throwing off my focus, and it's amazing that people are like, all this holy frick, I think I'm having synesthesia. Thank you, Anita.
Okay, thanks Lizzie Base. Put the drugs down, Charlie Brown. Can you, what was that question I read? Oh, people seeing kindness as a form of weakness? No, that's what insecure people do. You see, there are people who feel exploited and degraded whenever they're kind to others and worry that they'll be used. But there are people who don't know what kindness is yet. Because when you're kind, you don't have a perceived outcome that you think you deserve. So like, if I make a cake for a friend, I enjoy making the cake, I enjoy seeing my friend eat the cake, and that's where the pleasure comes from. If you feel scared that they'll go, now they're gonna expect cake from me all the time, and now they're gonna think I'm a soft touch, and I have to be mean to everyone and aggressive and out for myself, because if I'm not out for myself, people will use me, and I bet it might as well be selfish, because everyone's selfish. And it tends to be that people tell themselves that, not because it's actually true, but for several reasons. And one of them can be, if you're a twat, and you tell yourself other people are a twat, you feel slightly less awful about being a twat. But really, other people can be kind, and you're just letting yourself down, and everyone around you. And so people justify themselves quite often by looking to others and trying to see their own behavior in others. That is a very common thing. And so usually people who say it's weakness, you know, if you're kind, people will prey on you, are actually just trying to justify being selfish because that's what they want to do. And it's not actually true of the world. And anyone who's experienced like the kindness of a mother who gave up all their time and love and energy and money and everything just to raise you, anyone who's like had someone pick up your briefcase when you've dropped it, anyone who's like held the door on an elevator has known what it is to experience kindness, where you don't immediately viciously prey upon them as soon as the elevator doors close. You go, when someone holds the elevator door open for you and they're a stranger and they're not going to benefit from it whatsoever, do you get into the elevator and immediately jump on them and go, oh, thank God, some prey, and hungrily devour them because they're weak? No, you don't! It's such a stupid and hyperbolic and ridiculous view of the world, and deep down we all know that it takes more strength to be kind than it does to be a shit person. There are so many temptations out there just to look out for yourself and become closed off to the world. It's scary to put your heart out there. It's scary because people might lie to you or use you. It's scary because you have to stand by who you are and the judgment of it. And all these sorts of things, and it's really, really fucking hard. It takes strength. That's why kind people are attractive, and that's why kind people are applauded in society. And we applaud people who do charity work. We applaud people who are kind. We see it as a virtue in society. Of course it's a form of fucking strength. The dude who opens up about his emotions is so much braver than the asshole who, you know, goes, ha, gay, at people who express themselves. We all know it, and we all know that, you know, Anger and fear and, aggression are all the weaker side of people. And we all know as well that the biggest survival mechanism humans have ever had is connection. We know that! We know that the reason why we survived longer than the Neanderthals is because we cooperated. The Neanderthals were isolationists, they didn't trade. And as a result, when harsh winters and weathers came, they didn't have enough food and supplies to survive. And we strongly believe that this was the main factor in their species being wiped out. Whereas we traded and collaborated and cooperated with each other and managed to survive really harsh conditions by sharing resources. So cooperation is the key to success. We know it's a strength, not a weakness. The stories that insecure assholes tell themselves don't eradicate that. They just flag, them as the people you avoid. Anyone who says, you can't be kind, it's weak, avoid them. Because they're insecure and because they're trying to justify being a shitty person to themselves. And you don't need their shit.
Two?
Hey, thank you so much for the 22-month Baishu. How do you try to change their mind if they're a shitty person? It's not your responsibility to change people. Everyone's responsible for their own personality and their own story. I don't think that we shouldn't take it upon ourselves to take responsibility for other people's personality, personal journey, and social skills. I never set out to change people. Well, I have when I was younger, and I had all the energy and time to waste. I think that you'd find it tremendously irritating if everybody you ever met just wanted to make you into who they think a good person is. You'd want to be free to be who you are and feel out your own sense of morality and identity. If you feel like you're free to design yourself and tell your own story and be your own human, then I'm afraid you're going to have to, allow that freedom for other people as well. I think that's an essential thing to realize. If you're free to be who you are, other people are too, whether you approve or not. So yeah, please don't take it upon yourself to try and fix humans around you. We all learn at our own pace, and quite often if you try to force your ideals on another human being, they'll become increasingly resistant to it anyway. And have you ever had this thing where people are sick of vegans and tend to hate them because they perceive them as very preachy and constantly trying to change them? It's not always necessarily true, but it's a stereotype because people are deathly afraid of it and hate it. And the thing with that is, you can be that preachy vegan with any ideal you have if you see people as fixers, as people you have to change, people you're responsible for. So I just say, don't try to fix people. It's not your responsibility, and try to force that will probably make them more resistant to the thing you want them to be anyway. The more you make someone defend an aspect of themselves, the more it has value to them. So don't make people defend their assholery. Are you Pokemon's boyfriend? Does Pokemon have a boyfriend? No hangover today? I'm impressed. No, I don't have hangovers really. My version of a hangover is to have a slightly dry mouth until the first coffee. And to feel a bit slow. And that's about it. And then I speed up again. Anshay, thank you so much for the 5 subs. mentioned before that you can vomit blood if you go into an uncontrolled tick episode. What is the physiology of that? I've never heard of Tourette's leading to such a severe reaction before. Here's the sad part of being a Twitch streamer. So I come under a lot of doubt, and a lot of people are like, that doesn't happen, that's not how it works. And so a lot of people think I'm lying about my condition just because there are aspects of it that they've only partially heard explained. Maybe they've only heard it secondhand from other people. So I have an autoimmune disorder which causes severe scar tissue in my throat, and the soft tissue in my throat is actually really easily torn. So when I'm forced to tick over and over again, when people trigger my ticks intentionally over and over all stream, I am shouting over and over can cause me to start coughing blood, vomiting blood, and it takes quite a while to heal, and it can become very difficult to speak. But I can't stop because, I have tics, so I'm forced to do it over and over again, even off stream. Even when people aren't triggering me, I'll still have tics. And so, yeah, it causes an endless kind of pain that's very, very difficult to heal and very, very difficult to stop. So it's not that my Tourette specifically causes the bleeding, it's that because I have another condition, that the verbal tics can exacerbate that specific condition in a way that it wouldn't if I didn't have Tourette's. No, I don't hunt. I'll never hunt. If I can choose not to cause harm, I won't. So, yeah, they're just found skulls. I just found them, just out in the world. When you go walking out into the world and you do a lot of stuff in wild places, you find bones, and I think they're beautiful. Do you have good friends? Hell yeah, I do. Are you vegetarian? No, I'm not vegetarian.
The beauty about the world we live in is the possibility for change. Except for Anita, she will always have to shop for clothes in the children's section.
I've got too much of a womanly figure for that. So many people ask me if I care about mosquitoes, and I find it really, really weird that people are so pushy with it. Like, they spam and spam and spam and spam. Yeah, I do care about mosquitoes. I don't kill mosquitoes. I know enough information, factual information about them, and I'm not biased by my own self-interest. Having weighed up the actual facts about mosquitoes, I'm not a dick to them. Yeah, apparently, according to my mom, a few of my ancestors were burned. Well, did witch trials. Were killed as witches. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, a lot of the people in my ancestry, a lot of the women were known to be incredibly beautiful, and it inspired a lot of jealousy. So, what's suspected among my family is that those particular women were attractive, and the less attractive women in the village just wanted to bump them off and get them out of the way. So yeah, that tended to be what happened.
Honestly, how do I connect my phone to a charger and how do I get off this application? My fingers feel stuck, but the music you have on is helping.
Good luck with that. I wish you all the best. There's no escape.
Hey chat, if you ever think Anita has never been rejected, then you've clearly never seen her try to get on a roller coaster at a theme park. Pepe laugh.
Neither of you, therapist. So it was asking me how I deal with anxiety.
Has Marbles finished downloading yet? I wanna be not Popple.
All in good time. Someone asked a question, I've been trying to answer it, and I've been distracted like 3 times. What was it? How do I deal with anxiety? I used to get really bad anxiety, but as I've gotten more self-assured and as I've gotten used to the world and acclimatized, I have less and less of it. I tend not to have like huge anxiety about like stuff going on in the world, because everything you have, you could lose tomorrow. Everything. If you're gonna worry about all the things that could potentially happen, why not worry about literally fucking all of them? Because there are plausibly quite a lot of disasters that can happen in your life, both on a personal level and for us as a species, and even on a planetary level. So I kind of just relax because nothing is under control, and worrying doesn't change whether or not things happen, it just makes you suffer twice. It's a misuse of the imagination. I'm not going to sit here wasting every ounce of existence I get to have, which is short, and a privilege, on torturing myself mentally. So it's not like I just decided not to be scared forehead. I had genuine anxiety and really bad panic attacks and huge social phobia. But I started to notice what anxiety was, and I started to reshift my focus. Because anxiety is selfish. Anxiety is quite often self-obsession. It's quite often where you're so enraptured with your own bodily functions, like your breathing and your embarrassment and your social skills and stuff like that, that you stop seeing and stop connecting with what's happening around you, and you lose sight of all the beautiful things that are going on. And instead of being in awe and really connecting and taking an interest in the world, all you're interested in is yourself. So because I was having anxiety over things like, do I look good enough? Does my hair look greasy? Are people judging me? Am I embarrassing myself? Do people like me? Do people secretly hate me? Are they tolerating me? I was just thinking about me. And it's easy to do that if you get isolated. You get all squishy and self-obsessed. But, you know, I may be the kind of protagonist of my own story, but the beauty of my life comes from what other people bring to it and what the universe and the world around me brings to it. And so when I started genuinely taking a real interest in the world, instead of being self-obsessed, I started to be less afraid and less judgmental of myself and others. And so a big part of stepping outside my anxiety was just realizing how little everything that I was worrying about actually fucking mattered. Will I even remember worrying about this in a year? Probably not. Does it matter then? Probably not. And when I felt uncomfortable, I just let myself feel afraid, but did the things I wanted to do with my life anyway. And eventually, loving life and having adventures became progressively less scary. Were you in a better place when you found this perspective? No. I started figuring that out when I was in a horrible relationship, when I was very financially insecure, when I was very busy, tired, stressed, and, you know, just in a really dark place in my life. And I started to realize it then, and that's how I got to a better place. I think the mental attitude was the ladder I needed to get to a place where I had friends, was likable, did cool shit, because I had to stop being afraid to get out there and do that. And I had to stop being afraid to really start listening to others and loving them genuinely, instead of being desperate for them to love me. I think that desperation converts into a need for acceptance and a need for people to constantly reassure you that you're not a burden and all that sort of stuff, which can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, if you have a friend and you hang out and you play tennis and you laugh and you talk about the cool shit you're experiencing, that's fun. But when someone comes and they're like, do you accept me? Are you secretly tolerating me? Could you tell me how much you think I'm wonderful? And that's the only conversation that you ever have with them, is constantly reassuring them. Then sometimes that by proxy, they just do become a burden. Because you're not having any fun discussions, you're not getting to know them, you're not seeing any positives, you're just constantly having to suck up to them all the time in order to make them feel comfortable. And that's not the same thing as having fun and really enjoying each other's company. And so by being self-obsessed and being terrified of being rejected, you can actually set up the exact scenario that you're afraid of. And so yeah, I think the attitude had to change before my world could and my life could. Is there people who are that insecure? Yeah, a lot of them. So, I'm gonna grab a coffee and we're gonna do some marbles. How does that sound? Yeah? Yeah. Alright then. I'm gonna hand you over to Chair. Okay, Chair, take care of them, won't you? Coffee. I need so much coffee. Oh my god. I'll kill you. Oh, I just flashed my belly. There we go. Look at this little squish. While I'm cooking the water, I thought I'd show off my favorite human. Wait, my favorite blend. There we go. I know what species you are. Identification failure. I like to squish his face a little bit. He's a cutie, isn't he? I love him. That's a cute animal. Yes, he is. Look at his little face. I love him. I love his little paws. He had a trim, he didn't like it. Anyway, I think the water's cooked now, so I'll be right back. also, how many heart? Let me just... Okay, so we got a oh, someone redeemed a song and a unicorn hat. Okay. Oops, I turned off the music. I didn't mean to do that. Right. You're always chair. So I'm just getting chat up. Okay. So there we go. Choose a bitch. Wow, choose it, bitch. Choose a map and we can go. Can you put marble stream in chat in the title of chat, please, mods? You're all slut. Is that actually doing it? It's like not counting. It's like 0 votes. It's not counting the votes. Like you're voting, but it's not happening. What? Well, let's see what happens. How does one start the race? I don't see the option. I don't think it needs to resync because I've only just downloaded it. So in order for it to operate on this channel, I'm pretty sure it had to like do it for the first time.
Vote 69, my dudes.
Hello, Sheets. Thank you so much for the 14 month. Yeah, I don't see an actual button to start the race. Yeah, I don't think it's working. I'll see what. Let me see if I can fix it. Maybe you're right. The only trouble with that is to log into Twitch. Okay. I hope you know, guys, that I really love you and this is a lot of trouble. Alright. I'm signing in.
Do you like bitches?
He likes bitches. I've got to pick a manager this week, and I've got to make a really cool video. I feel a lot of pressure to make this video really good about stalking and harassment and stuff. Kind of feel like it's really, really, really important. We appreciate your effort. Well, thank you. I'm worried though. I'm worried that nobody will care because it's so easy for people who feel like they're never, ever, ever going to get this level of harassment. To stop caring and to not be invested. And I'm scared that this will be the case forever just because nobody cares what happens to us. People are eager to consume what we have to offer, but don't care what we have to pay in order to provide it. And that's the biggest thing I feel like I'm going to have to contend with, is getting people to care about what's happening to us. There. Hopefully that's fixed it. Yeah, I fixed it. Fuck yeah, we're gonna do it, guys. But I do feel like if you watch people's content, if anybody on YouTube or Twitch or on TV, if anyone you've ever looked at in the public eye has ever inspired you, has ever provided content for you, has ever kept you company in the middle of the night with their videos or with their content, I kind of feel like if you genuinely care about these people, or if you're genuinely grateful for what they've provided for you, then it would be awesome if you could help us to be safe so that we can keep doing that for you, and that it doesn't cost us our lives or our mental health. I mean, it's finite. I've been talking to loads of managers who say, let's face it, you need to make a plan for the next 3 or 4 years because you won't be streaming forever. You know, there's a good chance that in that time, people are going to forget about you and everyone's going to leave, and you need to understand that you have a finite amount of time to do what you want with your streams and your content. So we need to make a plan, and we want to know what you want to do with your future. And I've had that talk with a lot of people who want to sign with me, and I kind of feel like one of the reasons why people can't stick around forever is because this is just so hard. There's so much pressure, it's so draining. And a huge aspect of it is stalkers and security and constantly being harassed, and there constantly being leaks and people being really thirsty for your personal information in your private life. So yeah, let's change that so that people could be contributing and make awesome content for many, many years instead of having to dip out because it's just so hard. There you go, guys. This is the first marbles game in ages. Hey, Oberhal. Just saw your name zoom by. But yeah, someone said, you'll be fine. There are plenty of other jobs you can do. I'm sure I will be. I'm sure that I'll be able to find something else that I can sustain myself with. But that's not the point. My point is that I don't want to see anyone have to suffer just to want to create content. I think it's fine to want the people that I watch, to want the people who provide all this cool content that I really enjoy to be safe and happy. And that's possible. That's actually doable. There's no reason why that shouldn't be the case. There are security measures we can put in place to make sure that it's not easy for people to stalk and harass. I think that's something that we owe to the people who provide content for us. And it's not just self-interest either, because I could just very privately, very quietly deal with my stalker alone. I didn't have to make this video, and I didn't have to involve anyone else. I didn't have to show people what's going on, and so many people passively just accept that nothing will ever change and that the police will never help them, and I don't think that that should be the case anymore. I'm sick of it. It needs to change. I'd still want that, even if I didn't have a stalker. I'd still want that for the people who make content, even if I leave the content kind of arena. I still want to see change. I still want to see people be safe. Let's get up to 400 and I'll press start. Whoa, this map looks insane.
Okay, Billionaire.
Nobody loves you. There aren't as many people as usual, so we can actually see who's playing. It's pretty cool. Matt Humble, you're doing really well, dude. Get out. Darlin, you were first for so long, damn it. Okay, let's, oh, wait, nope. You were first and now you're gone. Here we go. Jalik, look at you go. Pyromaniac Walnut. I've tried so hard to say your name and did not. Do you pluck your eyebrows? You have some really well-defined eyebrows. They're looking good, buddy. Steve the cat. Hello, buddy. You were so close to holding first. Look at you get caught in that rubble. Wow, what a foot. What a foot. I'm sure you'll catch up. Yeah, there you go. Dutchy Toes, why does your marble look so cool? Shades, holy shit. Syncade Paragon. Whoa, look at those floofs. Dude got some serious floof going on. I like it. Crystal 1. You're first right now. Things can change in an instant on this map though. Wow, you managed to dodge so much rubble then. You're lucking out. I don't mean to jinx it, but you're a fish. What the hell is happening? It's a map. It's a map with rubble, which really does heavily impact who comes first. This is a very much luck of the draw game. Whereas clearly all of the other maps involve a hell of a lot of effort and skill. Numbers! Holy shit, dude. Well done for winning, bud. Are you not Popple, Anita? I am indeed not Popple. Danny Yorston. Ha! Thank you so much for the resub, bud. Let's see. Who's straggling? Oh, Dice, come on, you can do it. Oh no, oh no. Speed up, buddy. The map's gonna catch you. No. Oh, no, thank God. Oh, damn it. You were so close to the end. Come on, BK, you got this, go, 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 go. Yes. There we go. I was worried for you. Oh, what a whore. Get the mobile app. Wow, this map, it has an interesting color scheme. I remember when I used to live in this house, and one of the rooms used to belong to a little boy, like before we moved in, and it had blue walls and a red carpet. It did not look good. We made it into a bunny room, and you could just lay down and like 12 rabbits would hop all over you and jump on your belly and stuff. It was so soft. You could just swim in bun. It was so good. I had like, so you know how I was talking about earlier that if you care about animals, you don't sell their children for profit? Well, we had a bunny that was given to us, and she gave birth, so we kept her family together. And we just kept all of them, and some of them lived for 15 years. It was amazing. So we really got to know them, and they all had really unique personalities. And Ginger, he was this bright, fluffy ginger rabbit with a fluffy lion head, and he had he had some sort of learning difficulties. So the other rabbits could tell he was a bit that he struggled a little bit. So they used to over-groom him and love him when he was little. And the thing is, rabbits' eye suck. They like nibble the corner of the eye to show dominance, to show love, and so they would love him and look after him. And it looked like he had goggles because they groomed his eyes so much that it made bald patches, perfect little round bald patches all the way around his eyes. So that was how loved he was, until he hit puberty and tried to hump them all. And I think the most common thing I said to him was, "No, that's your sister," for quite a long time. And then he was nobody's friend, and they'd all bully him and badger him, and he'd have to sit in the corner and not participate because he'd get too excited and hump everybody. Like, if they started sprinking and like binking and herring around, he'd be like, "Yeah!" Ooh, and they'd be like, "No, fuck off." So, yeah. Yeah, they were all really unique. Really, really unique. Oh wow, we've got like nearly the max. Should we wait until all 500 people are in? Here we are. Can you see your name? Bitch! Hey, Carino's here. Hello, buddy. And Rogue. And Steve's playing. Fuck off, Steve. You're always Steve! Get a better dick. Actually see or make out any other names. Oh, did we hit 500? Let's go. Watch my penis. Look at it go! I'm gonna sit here. There we go. And I'm gonna look here. God, that's so trippy. Oh, Brungo's here. Hello, Brungo. Fuck off. Whoa. Danny Yorston, look at you go. Big Daddy Moosin. What's with that name? Oh, wow, look at this guy's floof. You got some thick hair, dude. I'm jealous. What do you do to get such a lustrous mane? Press 1 if you like Danny's hair. Because I'm pretty fucking impressed. Yeah, I like his hair. He's got pretty nice hair. Wow, fuck off. Shame about the... Almost. There we go. Zarosma! Holy shit, you came first. That was so fast. I didn't even see it happen. I was distracted by this dude's beautiful hair. How do I ensure safety? Wow, buy it. Where? Wear two condoms. Don't do that. It actually is less safe to wear two than one because the friction between the two rubbing up against each other, it makes them more easily torn. So don't do that. That is not how you do the safety. That's how you do the babies when you don't want none.
Are you a whammy? Whamming! Whamming!
Who's gonna be not Popple today? Not today! I've noticed that Popple isn't even playing. He's gonna cry when he finds out that I played marbles on a day when he couldn't join in. What a cuck. Two-handed death. Thank you so much for the resub. There's some pretty cool names zooming by. How do people come up with such creative names? I'm so jealous. Can I fart on your tits? Campton Stinky Nips. Run for ruin. Thank you so much for the prime, bud. Woo! Keck W. Just 50 more people and we'll get started. Put exclamation mark play in chat if you'd like to join in. You just put it in chat and your marble will be added to the game. That's it.
Hi Anita.
Hi.
New to the chat and Twitch. Over here from your YouTube compilations. I have a question but not sure when to ask. Sorry for interrupting this marble game.
That's alright, Bark. You can ask any question you like. You can even put it in chat. The thing is, I won't necessarily answer it. Some questions I get asked all the time. Some questions, and I just don't want to repeat myself. Other questions are just downright rude, so I'm just like, nah. But like, if I see it and want to answer it, I will. So you might as well just, because the thing is, if you ask a question and it's, hi, can I ask a question? Chances are I might not see your actual question, so you might waste the chance that you got to be seen, because there are a lot of people talking. So my advice is, when engaging with streamers, is don't ask if you can ask a question, just ask the question. Breakfast. Wow, I pressed 1 and immediately zoned in on Steve. I'm surprised that your picture is Groot and not one of your lovely toilet selfies that you take with your concentration face. Holy shit, Rogue. Look at you go. Rogue is first. Hell yeah. XD. nasty. I might cry. Wow, I pressed 1 and immediately zoomed really far back. How does that work? Whoa! Rogue, how? How did you... Holy shit. Look at this dude go! I've never seen anyone so far ahead. That's insane. What a cunt. What a cunt. I will push your dick. Secret toasty. What's a secret toasty? I missed, I zoned out a sec. I missed what happened to Rogue. Did he die? Where did he go? What happened? I was rooting for you, Rogue. What happened? Oh wow, this looks so shiny. Look at all the shininess. He got cancelled, Kappa. Yeah, I hate cancel culture. I think it's really dumb. Lord Cadith, you stole that. Holy shit. Dutchy toes. You guys, like, I did not see anybody catching up with Secret Toasty then. That was insane. Was that the last one? No, we got one more. I got breakfast. Don't touch my toes, bitch. Here we go. Now we can watch everybody coming in. Oh, Big Nate, look at you go. You better hurry or the map's gonna cut you off. Go, go, go. Oh, is everyone gonna make it? Are you gonna make it? Are you gonna make it? Oh! Yeah, I think he's safe. I think he's safe. Yeah. Go, go, go. You can do it. Yeah. He likes dick. You better put exclamation mark play in chat as fast as you can. Because there are 2,500 people and only 500 spaces. So if you put exclamation mark play in chat, you get, wow, you get a spot and a marble named after you. Your marble will just automatically roll. You don't have to do anything else. You literally don't have to do anything. That's just how you play. You put exclamation mark play. You don't have to press a thing. You don't have to say a thing, do a thing. It's all just exclamation mark play. Pog you! No, pog you. I zoned out completely. I guess we could start now. We hit 500. I was just like thinking, I've seen like a few things that I need to think about. Oh, here we go. Jake, holy shit, you are straight out there. Like, look how far ahead you are compared to everybody else. Nobody else has gone through the tube yet. Holy shit. Look at you go. I'm gonna go up here so everyone else can see themselves go. There you go, guys. What does this 50 mean? This one's got like a 50 next to their name. Captain Dick Count.
What color?
Do you want to approve some donuts, guys? Is anyone gonna catch up to Jake? Nobody likes house. Oh, I've just seen his display picture. That's terrifying. Who is that? What is that? That's Peppa Pig. I thought Peppa Pig would be cuter. I think if that came after me or just like tried to come near me, I would scream and cry. Remember, you're a womble. I would cry too. Yeah. Your display picture is terrifying. Cool but terrifying. Oh wow. There are a lot of very, very interesting display pictures here. Too many balls in one place. That's just not possible. There is no such thing. Come on, Jeffy me. Alrighty mates, what do you reckon, guys? Is Alrighty mates gonna make it all the way to the end before the map cuts them off? Do you reckon he can do it? Press 1 if you think Alrighty's gonna be okay.
Alrighty, mates.
Yeah, I think so too. Come on, buddy, you can do it.
Yee.
Oh wait, was that the last one? Holy shit. You're all sluts. Did you want to approve some donos mods? Look at this. There we go. Cantrixer, Lord Calith, and Zerasama. Well done, guys. You came first, second, and third. Cantrixer, if you join the Discord, you will now have the Not Popple role in our Discord. Congratulations. Hugo, you came 86. Holy shit.
Breakfast. Huh.
I came 215th. Fosserbot. I remember when Fosserbot won. That was hilarious. Papa was devastated. He was like, the bot won before me? Which is totally his luck, to be fair. Right, what should I play? I want to play a game. Let's play a game. Ah. No problem, lads.
What color
Pixnon, thank you so much for the 14 gift subs, buddy. That's amazing. What a slut. What a bumbleclad. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm craving a little bit of Overwatch. I hope that's okay. I'm opening it now.
Hello, Via. It's good to see you, bud.
Would you ever visit Tigran Park in Ukraine?
I know nothing about it, so I have no idea. I got my password on my second try. That's really good for me. Sorry. Be going.
Question is, you consider yourself demisexual, as do you feel that there is another title to be given to people who feel intimate connection with a celebrity or streamer, because they see enough content about that person to feel closer fancy show?
When people feel close to someone that they don't know personally and it's a one-sided relationship, like, if you feel close to someone who doesn't even know you exist, that's not a connection. That is a parasocial relationship. Google parasocial relationship. It's when you think you know someone because you've watched enough of their content. But I can safely say that no matter how much content you watch of someone, you will never know them completely, because you cannot interact with a computer or a camera in the same way that you can interact with a person in your day-to-day life when you're going about your business. Those are two different contexts. And living with someone or going shopping with someone and, you know, doing all those basic things with them is a side of them that is, you know, you just don't get to see when people are producing content usually. So yes, I wouldn't call that demisexuality. I would consider that a parasocial connection, and it's incredibly common. But it's also incredibly unhealthy to feel connected on that level to someone that doesn't know you exist and has no connection to you. Because when you admire someone, you can admire someone that doesn't know you, but you can't connect with someone who doesn't know you, because a connection is reciprocal. A connection goes both ways.
Traveling to Lumbani.
Oh, someone redeemed a dab. There you go, buddy.
Prepare to attack.
Da 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 da!
Hero.
Who should I be? Who should I be, chat?
True self is without form.
Greetings.
A chance to focus.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Hey Anita.
Hey.
How did your parents react when you had your Tourette's diagnosis a few years ago?
Well, my mom, who I lived with, did I live with her? I can't remember. Anyway, she was pretty much the only close family I had at the time. And she was like, yeah, that explains a lot. I already suspected I had Tourette's for quite a few years before I got my diagnosis. In fact, it was under investigation for a few years before they actually told me that they diagnosed me. So we already strongly suspected, and when it was confirmed, I felt very vindicated, but it didn't really change anything about my mom. She was just like, yeah, that explains it. Sorry if that's an anticlimactic response. I think it was more difficult for the rest of my family because I don't have much contact with them. And I haven't seen these since really young. I used to feel a lot of nervousness about spending time with them because I used to have these uncontrollable outbursts and they couldn't understand it. And yeah, I used to try and hide them a lot, which means that they're a lot more pronounced now than they were around then. And so it's weird. The reaction is, my reaction to being around them is uncomfortable.
Heroes never die.
Put a comment about parasocial connections being the only kind of connections to have. And I didn't get to read all the comments, I was very curious. Can you perhaps put that one again, if you can? Don't worry, I'll change the volume.
A temporary setback.
Breakfast. Here, I'll turn down the desktop audio.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, move up here. I need healing.
There we go.
Need healing. Thank you.
Breakfast. Zozy, thank you so much for the free sub, bud. It's still loud. Really? Let me try again.
Pain is an excellent teacher.
How about that? Is it still loud? Is that better? Okay. But yeah, I really wish I got to read that comment about parasocial relationships.
I understand.
Because all I saw was some people, it's the only connection they get though. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't make it healthy. And that doesn't mean that it's fulfilling or any more healthy or any more useful to the person. Because yes, it's nice to feel on some level connected to you and interested in a human that you watch. But it's not healthy to... Parasocial connections that are incredibly one-sided can be very, very unhealthy. People tend to fill in the gaps of what they don't know with whatever they prefer about a person. So when you don't know someone's politics and you like their content, you might assume that they have the same politics. You might assume that they're single because you want them to be. You might assume that they have no children because you want them to be childless, or that they do have a certain religion or don't have a certain religion, and you start to fill in the gaps. And I've had this even before I started streaming, there were people who thought that, you know, who fancied me and would fantasize about me and would unconsciously make assumptions about me and then call me a disappointment when I didn't meet them. So I had someone who was like, oh, I thought you'd be religious. I'm actually really disappointed. You know, I've liked you for a long time, and now that I've gotten to speak to you, I'm actually really upset, you know, because you weren't everything I expected you to be. You know, I've had interactions like that even before I started streaming. And so it can be really unhealthy, and it doesn't tend to set you up for happiness. It just tends to set you up for continued isolation. I hate to be the excuse for people to not get out there and enjoy life and make rewarding reciprocal connections, because one-sided ones generally aren't very healthy.
Heal, please! We don't have a single heal.
You know there's a thing called dying?
Come on!
When you prevent your teammates from living.
Oh,
you know,
they sound
play
so
DPS
young.
with a tank. That's what
I'm
happened.
not playing DPS, I'm playing tank. Second of all, the DPS, he don't do damage,
Sure,
and
bro.
just Junkrat to do the job for the other DPS.
I can't actually hear them. I can't seem to strike a balance between what you hear and having the volume high enough for myself.
When teammates die.
Oh look, you got a code. I'm in love with a fish. You're always Ben! Ben is a hoe. What if someone wants to be your friend because they only know you through streaming? I think that's really sweet when you have like a connection with someone where like you've seen someone on stream and you'd be friends with them in real life if you could. I'm kind of in an awkward position as a streamer because a lot of people are like, can we play games together? Can we be friends? Can you be my best friend? And I get asked that like several times a day, and there's no way that I could give all of my time and energy and constantly reply to loads of messages from all of these people. And I think it's the same for a lot of people who are very relatable. That it's just not possible to be friends with everyone who would like to be. And it's really sad because like as a streamer, a lot of people give me their time and energy, and I really am thankful for that, and I'd love to be able to give back. But at a certain point, it just becomes too many for that to be possible. And yeah, I kind of feel as well that if you're going and DMing people and going, can you be my friend? That's not actually how friendship works beyond like kindergarten. Like usually you can't just go, can we be best friends? In fact, best friends don't really exist when you're an adult. Like when you ask most adults who've had like a flourishing social life and a very normal kind of very average level of interaction with multiple people, they'll quite often adults will say I don't have best friends. Best friends are a kid or a childhood thing. Because people come and go in your life according to your circumstances and theirs. Connections ebb and flow. Sometimes you're closer to people and then for a while you won't speak to them, and then sometimes you'll speak to them again, and it won't have anything to do with how you feel about them. It'll quite often just be like they got a job in another country, or you know, they got a child and it's a newborn and you know, it's taken a lot of their time. These sorts of things. And so you slowly learn that, you know, there's no such thing as a best friend. And yeah, like those sorts of concepts you know, when you haven't had much social interaction for like 15 years, sometimes you can get to 30 and end up DMing people that you don't know and going, can we be best friends now? And not realizing that that's not really how adult interactions usually work anymore.
A temporary setback.
Like, it's true, you can quite often have closest friends, but it will ebb and flow. Like, sometimes your closest friends you'll fall out with, sometimes they'll drop out of your life for a few years, sometimes other people will become closer to you out of the blue, and they're not. Like, everything ebbs and flows, it fluctuates. These connections tend not to be about who's best and who's not, who's closest and who's not, but rather who has time for you right now, and who doesn't. Breakfast.
Embrace tranquility.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
A payload in motion stays in motion. Excepting a number of circumstances, of course.
I'll be dead with no one there for me. Well, to be honest, you'll be dead, so it won't matter. You can't be lonely when you're dead. But on a brighter note, a lot of people who've had kids and grandkids, a lot of people who've had so many people in their lives, a lot of people who are really amazing and lovable and wonderful end up dying alone. For a multitude of reasons. Like, you could have all the friends in the world that would have turned up to your funeral if they'd even known that you died. Or you could end up in a home, a funeral home, not a funeral home, you can end up in an old people's home, and people will just get on with their lives and not realize that you're passing away until it's too late to show their appreciation for you. There are so many people, this is why I'm never gonna have kids. Well, one of the reasons anyway. A lot of people feel pressured to have children because they're scared of dying alone. Or they feel pressured to get married because they're scared of dying alone. But I've seen people who've gotten married and had kids and given everything and put so much of their life and their time and their money and, you know, sacrificed so much for these people and still died alone in a home. It's not a guarantee that anyone will be there for you. It's just not. So I'd rather live my own life than give it away with the expectation that I'll get something in return that's not guaranteed at all. Because quite often when you're old, I've listened to a lot of elderly people, and what I find is that one of the most important things to build is memories. Because there'll come a time where you don't have, like right now when you're young, you quite often have a lot of energy, but no time. So you put off all the beautiful things that you would have done, like go traveling and stuff, until you have the money, right? And when you're older, you might have saved up enough money to go and do these things, but you won't have the energy. Because you're old and everything's not working the way it used to. And the idea of a good day to you isn't clubbing or going exploring. Quite often it's just having a day into sleep. Because as you get older, you get progressively more and more tired. And so, yeah, I would say like, what's most important to me after listening to a lot of elderly folks and what really matters to them is living completely and genuinely, being proud of who I am and what I do. Because when I pass away, I want to feel grateful that I lived and feel proud of the way I spent my time. So I'm constantly thinking, whenever I spend my time doing stuff, will this matter to me in a year's time? Will I care that I did this? Will this be important to me? Will I be happy that I achieved this? And if the answer is no, then I might well drop it and move on to something that I can look back on and feel good that I did. So I kind of look at things from the future perspective sometimes, from the bigger picture of like, does this actually fucking matter? And that definitely applies with drama and gossip. Like, if it's not gonna matter to me that, you know, someone said this or someone's dating that person or whatever in a year's time, then I'm not even gonna give it any mental energy at all. happier person. I feel like after developing that philosophy, I've been a bit more efficient with my time, and I've built things that I really care about. And I've spent time with people I really care about. But it also helps me to still love people and still feel good about having known people that I don't know or love anymore. Like, there are people in this world that I genuinely really am grateful I knew, even though the relationship turned sour and they're gone. Like, I learned things from them, I appreciate the good side of them, even if I know it's not healthy to have them around anymore and the connection isn't positive anymore. Maybe we've outgrown each other, whether it's a friend or a partner or a family member, but I'm still grateful that, you know, the experiences led to who I am and that I got to have a positive influence in their life while I could. Like, I think that it comes, like, when you start to really prioritize what genuinely matters, it allows you to feel really good about stuff that you might feel resentful about if you didn't realize, you know, that memories are important. Because, like, you tend to distort your memories of the past as well when a relationship goes sour. It's easy to start to gloss over all the good parts of a connection and really overemphasize the worst parts when you've fallen out with someone. And if you do that, you lose huge swathes of your life and the beautiful incidents in it. So yeah, it helps me to feel good about things that might otherwise turn people's gut and make people feel really angry. Or make people feel really sad. I'd rather live in the moment. I tend to only think about negative memories. Well, that's not living in the moment, is it? I kind of feel like you can live in the moment with the philosophy that will I love this and will I care about this in the future? Because it's only about prioritizing what you do in the moment. It's not about constantly thinking about the future. It's just about thinking about in the present what you want to give your time and energy to. So you can live in the present and still, you know, still consider the future from time to time. That said though, I do feel like I need to make more time for myself because at the moment I'm, you know, I'm building things for the future more than I am living for myself. Like, summer is brief and I want to go to the beach and I want to go swimming in the sea and I want to go walking to loads of beautiful places whilst the weather's good. But I'm not doing it. So I guess this is like a little wake-up call for me in this little chat. I don't know, are there things that you guys should be doing while you've got the chance? Blood! Yeah!
Victory. Play of the game.
Thanks for the earlier answer about arrow connection thingy, Margie. I heard what you said earlier about stalkers and that you are worried no one will hear you. If it's any motivation, I am here because of the lessons you leave on you doubt yourself.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for the encouragement, buddy. Paro connection thingy majig. Yeah, Google parasocial connection. Google it. I think as a streamer, as a lady streamer, I can see why a lot of women feel very heavily pressured to not specifically discourage parasocial connections and to not specifically discourage people that just are loitering because they're attracted to you. One of the sad things is that on a platform that's predominantly male, it's very difficult to be relatable as a female because so many people think of you as a something other. Like so many people, so many guys, especially on Twitch, are like, could you tell me how to talk to girls? As if we're this unrelatable separate species that you can't connect with and that you need to speak a different language in order to interact with us. And this makes it really hard on a platform where success comes from being specifically relatable. And so people make up for the numbers by encouraging attraction or not specifically discouraging attraction. And I kind of feel like I don't want to be one of those people, because even though I understand the place that it comes from, I want the things that people take from my interactions to be genuine, but also just because I'm exasperated with people who are attracted to me, because all of my life they've just kind of gotten in my way, and that sounds so fucking harsh, but hear me out. So back when I was a budding social human, when I was trying to connect with people and trying to make friends, there were so many lonely dicks in the way, barging into every conversation I had, desperate for a connection I didn't have to offer. And so like I would go to social events and stuff looking to make friends because I was lonely, and there'd be some guy following me around the room who's attracted to me, constantly butting in, constantly talking to me, and people would either assume he was my partner or assume that they were getting in the way of a date or something, and so people wouldn't speak to me. Just this guy constantly following. And it was really fucking annoying, because I knew the minute that he realized that he wasn't going to get laid, he'd leave me and stop being my friend, because that's what they always did. But they'd loiter and not give up for so fucking long that there'd just be like a few months long obstacle to real friendships. And it was just draining and upsetting, and no matter how many times I said no, they thought I was playing hard to get, and I just felt harassed because I'd tell them to stop and they wouldn't. And so I ended up with so many of these kinds of interactions that I got exasperated with people being attracted to me, because it didn't ever turn out to be a positive interaction, especially if I wasn't attracted to them back. So yeah, I just kind of like, I crave friendships. I crave being valued beyond my mateability. And that means that no matter how beneficial it is to a stream to be physically attractive or generate an audience of people who are attracted to you, I have no interest in it whatsoever. And it doesn't fluff my ego, it doesn't make me feel good about myself when people are attracted to me anymore. Especially because so often these people were doing this to me not because they liked me, but because they were lonely and thought a person could fill the gaps for them. And that meant that anyone who could potentially be coerced into their life was a target of this affection, not just me. And it kind of devalued the attraction in many cases. And so at this point, because I kind of feel like so many of the guys that have ever hit on me have hit on me because they want a girlfriend and not because they specifically like me, I just don't value it. And therefore I've just come from a background where I just don't encourage thirstiness whatsoever. Stream be damned. Relatability be damned. I don't care. And so when I'm honest with people, like a person who has their numbers in interest probably would have answered that demisexuality question with parasocial relationships and gone, I think it's natural and really sweet, you know? I wonder if I'll ever meet a guy in chat who's like really into me and knows all about me. It must be so nice to really connect with people who genuinely care about you, you know? I wonder if the next guy I date is in chat right now. You know, that would be the answer that would help my stream a lot. But I kind of feel like I want to be honest with you guys, because to not out of like some virtuous thing, I don't want a pat on the back for this. This isn't a I'm not like other streamers speech, but breakfast. I will say that I'd rather be the reason why people realize that they've got to get out more. I'd rather be the reason that you get off your seat and stop watching streams than the reason why you get stuck watching streams. I'd rather be the reason why you have an awesome life than be the reason why you sat on your ass and got a little bit wider and a little less social. I wish had a little bit more time when you could have been doing something recording. Just said they're inspired to go make something of themselves. Yeah, fucking do it. I mean, every day we're crafting ourselves. Whether you like it or not, you're crafting yourself. So if you spend lots of time indoors doing nothing that you're happy with, nothing that you're proud of, that's what you'll become. Nothing that you're proud of. Whether you're consciously trying to build yourself for the better, or you're sitting and doing nothing, you're still crafting yourself. The thing is as well, you only get one life as far as we can provably demonstrate. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people with various different faiths in chat, and that's cool, and I respect that. But just in case there's nothing after, you know, it's always worth living your life to the fullest it possibly can be. Even if you have 100% faith that there's something after, it doesn't hurt you or your faith to take every moment as if it's your last. And you know what? If you died today, would you be happy with how you spent today? If you died tomorrow, would you be happy with how you spent your life? And if not, what needs to change? What exactly would you change? Imagine yourself happy. Imagine yourself proud of who you are. And look around. What's there? And are you reaching for that? Because I didn't start thinking that way until really late in life. I think I was probably like 27 when I first pictured what I'd look like happy. And realized that all of the things that I was picturing are things that weren't in my life right now. I was like, why? Why? I like Cordelia Fine. I believe she's the person who wrote that book. She's also wrote a few other books that I really like. She's a very interesting writer. I like Mistakes Were Made But Not By Me and Reinventing Your Life. They're really good. Although the latter are more psychological than neurological, if you ask me. I also liked Getting Off by, I think his name is Robert Jensen or something. Getting Off was really informative for me about porn addiction and really helped me to help others who have porn addiction also avoid really getting involved with porn myself, which I think really helped me on a neurological level, because overconsumption of things that cause dopamine spikes can decrease the the white matter in your brain, and reduce that density. And so, you know, you can come off a much smarter person if you don't get trapped in too many vices. So I'm kind of glad that I read that book before I really had access to pornography.
Get healed.
My blade is ready to be unleashed.
This will help.
So you're smarter if you don't masturbate? No, I don't agree with that. I think masturbation is perfectly healthy. There is enough study to say that it's good for your immune system, it regulates your appetite, your sleep, and can be, you know, it can be good for you, but it can also be very, very bad for you. It's much like many things. It depends on your relationship with it.
Get ready for a show.
Fundamentally, I don't think that porn is necessarily bad, but I do think that it can be if you have the wrong relationship with it. And it's very easy to fall into that relationship without realizing it. Like, I'm pretty certain that most of the people who have a porn addiction that is actually detrimental to their lives don't realize that they have a porn addiction. The most easy way to find out if you do is try to give it up for 2 weeks. And if you can't, if every time you make excuses, and then you do it and then go, I could have given it up for 2 weeks. I could have, but I just don't feel like it. Then you probably are addicted. Like, if you genuinely can't stop for 2 weeks, that's not a healthy relationship with porn. And that can really fuck with your life.
I require healing.
The cycle begins anew.
Round 2, loss.
It's high noon.
I definitely have a porn addiction. I'm sorry about that loss. I kind of feel like it's really, really easy to use it as an escape or as a numbing kind of drug to help you to cope with your surrounding circumstances. So just as a disclaimer, I don't think that porn is necessarily bad for you, but some people can develop a nasty relationship with it, and here's what it can look like. So when you stop doing it as a recreational thing and you start doing it to cope with boredom or any negative emotion because it's numbing, if like when you were younger and your parents were arguing or something bad was happening, you tended to go and masturbate as a way to cope with it instead of addressing those feelings, it can start to make you very weak and squishy because you never developed an ability to cope with those emotions or address them in a mature way. It can stunt you emotionally and leave you 14 for the rest of your life. Because every time something bad happens, you don't cope. You just, well, you don't deal with it, you just cope. But also, it can be very isolating because if you can get pleasure and instant gratification, it demotivates you to do anything where you have to try harder to get the same level of satisfaction. And so, studying hard and working towards goals becomes more and more difficult if you could just do something that instantly rewards you instead. And so it can start to interfere with your ability to succeed. And it can also make you very, very much more receptive to other forms of instant gratification, like gaming and gambling and booze and drugs. Like, I'm not saying it's a gateway drug or anything like that. I'm just saying that if you learn to, from a developmental age, through masturbation, cope with negative feelings by getting a dopamine hit, then you start resorting to other dopamine hits as well because it's familiar. It's a very familiar way of coping with the world and strategizing difficulty. You know, strategizing how to deal with difficulty. Like, if you're thinking, I had a really hard day, I can't wait to go home and masturbate. Or like, if you can't help but masturbate. If you're having strategic wanks at work, if you're going off to the cubicle, like in the loos, to have a wank because you can't wait till you get home and something stressful is happening now, that may well be an addiction. And it can start to have a negative effect in that masturbation is like snacking. So sex can give you a sense of satisfaction, especially because it can cause a release of something called oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone, a bonding neurotransmitter, which we use to feel connected to other human beings. It's very satisfying. It's a huge component of being a healthy, mentally healthy human being, right? But you don't get that from porn, because porn isn't reciprocal. It doesn't engage with you. So it doesn't give you the same level of satisfaction. Sex is like a meal, and masturbation is like snacking. If masturbation felt as emotionally rewarding and satisfying as sex, we would never breed and we'd die out as a species. So it was never designed to be fully satisfactory. And so it will always leave a void and this unsatisfied feeling, this feeling that you don't get from sex. But the problem is, if you wank a lot, it can quite often reduce your appetite for actual sex. And there are people in relationships who get porn-induced erectile dysfunction with a real woman and stop being able to have sex. And also, not just because of porn-induced erectile dysfunction, but in part as well because it creates impossible standards of how another person's body should be. And on top of that, you don't have to please someone else while you masturbate, so there's the scope for insecurity and negative, fearful emotions when opening yourself up to another human being. But you can't underperform for a porn star because they never see you or even know that you exist. And so they gratify you, and it's not an exchange, and you can't let them down. And so it can create a lot of squishiness and fear and kind of hypersensitivity and performance anxiety, which can cause an erectile dysfunction, or make you less inclined to want to have sex compared to masturbating. And so it can stop you getting a girlfriend, or if you do get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, it can stop you having sex with them, and can actually break you up. And this is one of the things that can happen as a result. This is one of the negative potential side effects when you get addicted to porn specifically. What about relationship with my fleshlight? So I don't watch porn and just think about it. So quite often people can still have the symptoms of a porn addiction by imagining porn. Quite often the people who do nofap don't do nofap because it's specifically masturbation that's bad for them. Sometimes they do that because they can't masturbate without picturing porn. So in order to give up the porn, they have to stop masturbating in order to actually give up porn. Because if you're picturing it, it still has the same effect on you and your relationship with others and your relationship with yourself. So that's why a lot of people who are addicted to porn do nofap. Hello, buddy. So basically, I don't think there's anything wrong with men or women using sex toys. I think that's fine. Masturbation can be healthy and can be fine. I'm not sure that I've heard of like fleshlights ever causing problems in relationships and stuff, but I could be wrong. I do know about porn addiction though, and I will say I have actually left someone because they became addicted to porn. I don't think it's their fault that they're an addict or anything like that, but I felt as though I wanted to be in a healthy relationship and I wasn't feeling healthy or fun, and it felt like they were constantly trying to fix themselves but never actually getting fixed. And so I wanted to move on to something that was worthwhile and reciprocal and happy and healthy. And yeah, I feel as though I know a lot about it because I tried to help my partner before I left. I spent a few years working with them to try and get past this together, and it never worked out. They never actually managed to give it up. They lied about it a few times and pretended that they were fine when they weren't, but it showed.
Get into position.
But after meeting him and seeing how it really deeply affected him, I decided that I wanted to help other people with that problem too. And so I put the education and understanding and research to use with other people and became an accountability partner and started going in places like NoFap and helping people try to overcome it. Even though it's not something that specifically ever affected me, I still feel really invested in seeing people have, you know, happy lives and to get better.
Enemy seen.
So that was something I did for him.
This will improve your condition.
Get over here. I'm taking the objective.
Yeah, it is true that quite often a lot of people look to porn to educate them because a discussion with their parents or a teacher or someone who could actually educate them in a more wholesome way seems too awkward. So they look to porn to educate them about sex, and so many people are really just not capable of satisfying a woman as a result, because sex and porn are usually very, very different things. Very different things. One of the things that I really noticed is that guys who learned from porn were really terrible in bed. Really, really terrible in bed. Because a lot of the stuff that happens in porn isn't usually very physically stimulating for women.
I need to recharge.
Porn, in my experience, porn does make dudes pretty bad in bed.
I must reflect upon this.
Solsh, thank you so much for the sub.
There's no stopping me once I get into a rhythm.
Regroup, guys.
I'm taking it. Damn it.
Loss. I am struggling with a streak of losses in my life. From death, relationships, financial, mental and physical health. When for 20 years,
There was a flaw
life has
in my
been
approach.
seamless and generous. I'm not equipped. Help less.
Bark, I've given the speech many times, but I'm more than happy to say it again. Everything you have in life will be gone one day. Everything. the key to being happy is not about expecting life to be perfect, because it never will be. If you're waiting for life to be perfect before you can be happy, you'll never be fucking happy. When I lose people, whether it's relationships or to death or to anything, I try to be grateful for the fact that I got any time with them at all, rather than bratty that it's over. I'm not sad that I didn't get enough time. I'm so glad that I got any at all. And so from that perspective, I'm not crying that the cake is over. I'm really grateful that I got to taste the cake. And yeah, that's how I approach life, and that's how I approach loss, with gratitude. It may be over now, but I'm so glad I got some time with them. I don't define any relationship or anything I've ever been given or had in life by how it ended. Nothing. I don't define anything I've ever had by how I lost it. I define it by what I gained from it and how lucky I was to experience it, okay? And from this perspective, I'm sad when someone dies, but I'm glad that I was one of the few people that carries forward their memories. I'm one of the privileged few that knew them. They're gone now. There won't be anyone new who ever knows them ever again. I was one of the lucky ones. And I feel so grateful for that. And yes, it feels sad, and I let myself grieve, and I take care of myself while that natural process of feeling that loss happens. But after, I don't let them continue to be a source of sadness, because they'd never want to be that. It kind of feels like you're insulting their memory to let them hurt you when they never wanted to. I know that my lost relatives would really feel shit if they were a source of sadness in my life, so I don't let them be. I honor their memory by loving them and being happy to have known them and looking back on them fondly. And yes, your health will fail. Every single one of us that gets the privilege of growing older will know what a failure in health feels like. Your organs will get worse and worse at taking care of you. And so my happiness doesn't hinge on things I already know I'll lose. It comes from appreciating what is good. Because no matter how many things in life there is that are happening that you want to fix, there are still beautiful things going on. The key to happiness isn't about having a perfect life. It's about making sure that things that you want to work on don't blind you to the things that are already going well. Yes, there might be some sucky stuff that's happening, but that sunset is still beautiful, and that chocolate bar still tastes good. That friend's laugh still makes you giggle along with them even when you don't want to. And yes, there are still games. Yes, there are still films. Yes, you're still living the life of a king. There was a time where even having access to tea was a privilege for the rich. And now most of us can buy a cup of tea or have, anything sweet or any kind of fruit from anywhere in the world whenever we want. And that's amazing and an absolute privilege. We were born in a time where you can send your thoughts and feelings to anyone instantly anywhere in the world. And that means you are never alone, even in an empty room. I mean, I'm connected to over 2,000 people right now. Over 2,000 people right now. And so there's so many beautiful things to appreciate and explore and love about your existence, even while there's shit stuff going on. And I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to say people have it worse than you so you can't feel sad. Because feeling guilty about feeling sad doesn't help you or anyone who's worse off than you. And it's not true that only the person dying the slowest, most awful death is allowed to feel sad right now, and the rest of us just have to suck it up, because that's not how sadness works. It's healthy, it's part of the human experience to feel, and you would never blame anyone else for feeling sad when sad things happen, so you shouldn't blame yourself. And turning away from your emotions doesn't make them better, it doesn't change them, it doesn't make them go away, it just means that you aren't able to address them, and that is so much worse. So I'll say, don't feel better because there are people that have it worse off than you. Feel better, feel good about existence, feel good about having known the things you've known, seen the things you've seen, even if they're not there anymore. Feel all the luckier if they're gone, because you were one of the people that got to appreciate them while they were there. Whether it's a person or a thing or a job or money or health or food, whatever it was. And keep going, because there are so many more beautiful things to appreciate in the future, as yet. Even if there's things you want to improve about your life, even if there are challenges right now, don't ever wait until they're not there to be happy or to love things or to enjoy things. And I hope that helped.
This is my will.
And I'll give you an example because, I have a challenging life. I have a lot of challenges that I really want to work on. For example, I have a longing to have a partner, but I don't know how to find that person, especially as a streamer, because it becomes significantly more challenging. I am ill, really, really ill. I choke on my food, and every meal could be my cause of death. And I have no one around me to intervene if I start choking, so I'm scared whenever I eat alone. I vomit blood and puke blood. I'm sometimes in so much pain that I pass out, and all I can do is scream until I pass out. I have Tourette's syndrome, and it means that it's dangerous to step outside the door, or to go traveling, or to be outside alone, because people can get violent and angry when they think you're insulting them, and people can think you're racist or homophobic and attack you. And so it's scary. It's scary to go anywhere. It's scary to do anything. It's scary to stay indoors and do nothing even. I am a streamer, and I'm under constant pressure and judgment. And I have a lot of reasons to be scared, and I have a lot of reasons to be, I have a stalker, and one of my family members is currently passing away in a country I can't reach right now. And so, I have a lot of reasons to feel negative emotions, but I'm happy, and I'm grateful to be alive. Genuinely happy. And I'm happy because I have games, I have friends, I have food, I have so many things to enjoy on a daily basis. And even though there are things that I want to improve on in my life, I'm not letting that stop me from loving those things and genuinely feeling those things in the moment. I have plans for the future, and I have more independence in my life than I've ever known, These things are wonderful, and they don't stop being wonderful just because there's bad stuff. So yeah, I take moments to be grateful because a lot of satisfaction comes from gratitude, and a lot of happiness, core, immovable, generalized happiness, comes from satisfaction. So I don't ever forget every day to be grateful and to be really genuinely, profoundly happy about the things that I've achieved. And that's how, even in the face of lots of difficulties, I still manage to be really, really happy. You like tits? But also, I've taken a lot of time in my life to do hard things, and I feel really satisfied by what I've achieved. I've saved a lot of animals, I've met a lot of humans, I've got over a lot of challenges, I've achieved things I never thought were possible. I thought I'd always live with my mum, I never thought I'd have a job, I never thought I'd have financial independence. I didn't know what I was going to do when I was older and my mum passes away. I didn't know who I was going to be because I thought I'll have no life experience, I'll have never rented anywhere, I'll never have any life skills, how am I going to cope? And I've gone from thinking that was my future to living the life I'm living now. So yeah, if I die tomorrow, I'm so grateful for everything that I got to do. I feel so good about it. I'm not going to be bratty about what I don't get when I die. I'm going to be so glad I did what I did. So surprised and proud and happy. So yeah, if you don't have anything that you'd be dying with a smile over yet, go and do that shit while you can. Don't regret your life. Feel so glad you got to live it.
Play of the game.
First time on stream, wasn't expecting the combination of Overwatch with intellectual, measured and thoughtful discussion, but honestly this is great. I might have to hang out on stream here more often.
Awesome.
Enjoy the pie for the pleasantly surprised fund.
Thank you. I've actually got a big cheesecake to get through because my mods are amazing, and I'm definitely going to be having a big fat slice of it after this stream. So that's another thing to be grateful for. Just gonna leave this match because I am going to get some water. I'll be right back, guys. I just want to stay hydrated and stuffs. Breakfast.
Breakfast.
Your answer was marvelous, thank you. Yes, very helpful, and I'm sorry to hear of your daily struggle and my condolences for your losses. So I am struggling with the development of OCD and struggle to let go, not accepting no or to make amends.
Yeah, OCD is actually really comorbid with Tourette syndrome. A lot of people with Tourette's also have OCD. And I've struggled with OCD myself. The way that I've managed it is to find methods and ways of thinking that help me to navigate the same situations that other people might find less challenging. And because OCD affects us all differently, I can't make specific recommendations for you. But I do feel like I used to compulsively wash my hands, I used to compulsively check and procrastinate. So like I wouldn't be able to leave the house without constantly checking things and stuff. It was really, really hard to get anything done. And I don't do that anymore. And I did it for years and years and years and years. I didn't magically just stop having OCD. I still have an OCD mind. I'm just very aware of how OCD works and the thought patterns it's likely to instigate in me. And so I have an ability to step aside from my emotions and my initial reactions and assess them and assess whether or not they're rooted in actual logic and my environment and responding to my environment, or whether or not they're actually from my mental health and from my neurological conditions. So a good example of this would be I have this overwhelming urge to go check if the oven's off. I already know the oven's off. I've switched it off. I don't leave my oven on. I'm very scared of the house burning down because I have animals. So I know that this is just, this has only just occurred to me now because I'm procrastinating leaving the house and I'm doing a checking behavior, which is reassuring to me. And therefore I'm not going to waste loads of time checking everything. I'm going to walk straight out the door and I'm going to have this urge and I'm going to fight it. And that urge affects me for like a minute or two and then it goes. Because I've grown very well practiced at recognizing it and how it affects me and why. I found that reading about and understanding OCD and reading about and understanding the brains of people who are neurotypical has helped me to step aside from the compulsions I have and overcome them. But I am also very aware that it's not a choice. We don't choose to have OCD, and it's not just like a get over it forehead thing. It's very, very challenging. It's very, very hard. And it's not always possible depending on the severity. So I'm not saying that to be derisive towards anyone else. I'm just saying I have been diagnosed with OCD and it doesn't impact my life anymore. It just makes things slightly more challenging, but I still do them nonetheless.
I knew you could do it. Thank you. This will heal you. Surrender to my will.
Thank you, Jay.
That changes my thinking. In 3, 2, 1, I'm going in. Buck up.
Ultimate is ready. I'm on my way. I'll be right there.
Would you say that relationships formed through internet dating can only be parasocial until you meet them? No, because they are reciprocated. In an online dating, that person actually knows you exist and can respond to you. So, to answer your question, hopeful dreams. I'm sorry it took so long for me to see. I don't even know if you're still here, but with parasocial relationships, the key element is that the person that you feel connected with doesn't even know you exist. Or if they do, doesn't know anything about you. You're a username to them, but you know everything about them, like where they live, or what they like, or how they talk, or, you know, huge elements of their personality, whereas they know nothing about you. Yeah, but dating is not parasocial in that you are directly interacting with a human being. You might not be interacting with them in person, but they've shown an interest in you. They know who you are, and they have like a similar level of understanding and knowledge about who you are. So yeah, that's totally not parasocial. That's a connection.
Score 0-1.
I survived Corona, and I recently registered as a volunteer to help those infected or socially vulnerable that are stuck at home. But now I feel like I only do those things with the positive feedback I get. Please help me sort my head out, please. I can't fix that for you. Nobody can. It's really, really cool that you're self-aware enough to recognize your motivations and to want to improve those motivations. But it kind of comes from human experience. If you're worried about doing things because you only care about the positive feedback for it, why don't you try doing a kind of volunteering or work that you get to know the positive feedback from? Why don't you do something truly altruistic for a while and see if you still see the value and have a sense of personal reward for it, regardless of the actual outcome for you. Because then you can feel assured that you're still a decent person even when you do things that do include a reward. And then you can get back to helping people with the corona and still feel good about yourself, because once you've proven it to yourself, you'll know that regardless of the reward, you'd still be doing it. It sounds to me like that's the kind of reassurance you need. I'd suggest animal work, not just because I care about animals, but because animals can't thank you, animals can't help you, animals can't increase your status, and a lot of people really genuinely don't care if you volunteer for animals. There are loads of selfless things you can do like that really help you to know that you're doing it for the right reasons.
My ultimate is charging.
It's almost ready.
I recommend getting that right.
Regenerating the cellular structure.
Let them up.
Surrender to my will.
Oops. Oh, where's that soldier? Breakfast. We will all grow old and degrade and painfully die. Yeah, if you're lucky, you don't have to grow old. Some people don't get to grow old. Some people's lives are cut short very, very fucking early. Some people are born and then they're just hungry for a little while and then they just die. And that's the only existence they've ever known. That's the only time they ever get to experience anything, and all it was hunger. And starvation. So yeah, sometimes it's even worse than that. But you know what? None of us would be here without death. Death is the reason that evolution happens. every time that someone dies, but you pass on some of your genes, and then the genes that are most adapted to the world get to live on and the rest don't, we change and improve. Our intelligence and capacity to really think deeply and have philosophy and art and music and all those things came from death. Because without death, our species would never change and improve. All the beauty you've ever known, every bit of music you've ever heard, every beautiful thing you've ever seen or experienced couldn't have happened without death. Death is beautiful. Death is the pathway to change. And it's so fucking necessary. I'm grateful that I get to grow old. I'm grateful that I get to degrade slowly because it gives me time to appreciate the beautiful things about existence, to truly think and conceptualize, and genuinely have a lot of time to appreciate being the lens through which the universe experiences itself. To know pain and to suffer is a privilege, because every experience is a privilege. It's rare to experience. Most of the matter in the universe will never become conscious. Most of the stars, most of the gases in this universe will never have known a time where they get to be eyes that see, and ears that hear, and tongues that taste. And so, even if it comes with a little pain, even if it comes with a little difficulty, it's still an honor. It's still a really, really rare privilege to exist. And so I'm glad I'm alive even when it hurts. I'm glad to be alive even when it's hard. And I know that all pain and suffering is transient. It won't last forever. But I also know that beautiful moments won't either. So I try not to let them slip through my fingers. I try not to let them get hidden behind the negativity of life, because they're what's worth living for and existing for and suffering for in the first place.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Does a lot of your point of view come from a really good therapist you had? No. My philosophy on life, I developed that idea that suffering and life is a privilege when I was about 9. That's just a personal opinion. You can go to therapy and not feel that way. Therapy helps you listen to yourself. What you find inside yourself is up to you. People get mixed results from therapy.
I must reflect upon this.
On my way. Join me. On my way. On my way.
How do you get over people harshly mistreating you because you present as a person who completely is unaffected by injustice? We're all affected by injustice. Every single one of us. Every fucking one of us is affected by injustice. So, like, a classic example is there are people who will persecute someone for being a white male. Go, you don't know, you don't experience racism and sexism and stuff. But the thing is, racism and sexism still affect white males. Because whilst, yes, it's true that sometimes it's the women getting nuked, it's the men who have to live in the radiation. For example, when we have a prejudice against women and we consider emotions to be feminine, we don't allow men to have emotions and express emotions because we think they're presenting as a lower class. And so we bully them and call them effeminate names and reject them socially for expressing the same emotions that women can freely. And this means that while the derision is aimed at women, it actually still affects men. And this is an example of how injustices towards anybody affect us all, and why they need to be improved for the betterment of everyone, because we're all victims of prejudice, no matter who it's directed at. And yes, it might be worse for some than others, but that isn't why we should be derisive towards anyone. It just means that those who are less affected are in a better position to help. And so having their cooperation and collaboration improving society is the way to go. Not persecuting people for being better off, because that's just fucking dumb. course it's all intersectional.
Thanks for answers. It's quite a strange concept to be spending a little dollar expecting to receive answers to profound questions. And as a person beyond the stream, it must be strange to get donated, so I will say something in the next donation 1 month.
Okay, I'm waiting. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's really sweet. But yeah, like, of course, injustice and prejudice is intersectional. Of course, it's all related to each other. There's no point in saying racism is bad. We need to be nice to black people unless they're women or gay, or we need to be nice to gay people unless they're black or women, you know? Like, there shouldn't be conditions upon you stop, you know, your care and love and respect for someone diminishes regarding arbitrary factors about someone. So yeah, in order to be a decent person and not be racist and genuinely care about people suffering from racism, you have to still care about them even if they're other people, you know, they belong to other groups that are persecuted. That's the thing. Like, of course all of these issues intersect. And they intersect in really, really weird ways that you wouldn't think of. Like, there is a profound aggression towards gay men, and it tends to be really fucking potent. And the problem is that a lot of people think it's degrading for men to act in an effeminate way, and they quite often see being penetrated as being effeminate and lower class. And so quite often gay men are bullied under the premise that they're behaving in a womanly way, and that's somehow negative. And so a lot of homophobia is rooted in sexism. And there are lots of connections like that between certain kinds of prejudices. And so yeah, unfortunately you have to be well read in all of them to really understand the complexities of any individual one.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
True self is a chance to focus.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
The greatest enemy is that which lies within.
Yeah, I got him! I love it when I save up all of my balls and just give them to one person and they all hit. I love that ting 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 ting! Got him. Breakfast. Breakfast. Nobody loves you. Vagina time. Breakfast. Blood force. Oh, yes, we got mercy. Any more questions you guys want answered? How's totes after last night? I don't know. I don't think I've had as many ticks, but I've had some really cool conversations to engage with, so I feel pretty focused right now.
No one can hide Fluxactive.
I like it when people ask me cool questions. What's the most intense game of Scrabble you've ever played? Does anyone ever remember the specifics of a game of Scrabble?
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective.
Any advice for your job interview later today? Don't be scared, be prepared. So if you're imagining all the things that could possibly go wrong and it's filling with terror, why? If you imagine everything that could potentially go wrong and then figure out how you'll deal with those specifically, how you'll cope as best as you possibly can, you'll feel prepared instead of scared. So build your confidence by feeling ready rather than shooting down your confidence by worrying. Turn your worry into preparation would be my first bit of advice. And the second bit of advice is you'll be okay either way. So don't sweat it too hard. There'll be more interviews if this one doesn't work out. Try not to put all your eggs in one basket and desperately hope this is the one. Whatever happens, happens. Nothing is under control. Black, holy shit, hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello everyone. Breakfast. I'm a killer. Wow. I'm playing Overwatch, but we're just kind of talking philosophically right now. Loads of people have been asking questions like the meaning of life and how to cope with things and stuff. And we're strategizing. We are. So welcome. Breakfast. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a simp. I'm Sweet Anita. I have Tourette's syndrome, so if you're wondering why I'm making this popping noise with my mouth and saying random shit, a lot of that random shit, not all of it, is because of a neurological condition called Tourette's syndrome. Please give that a giggle if you don't know what it is to avoid any confusion during our little chats, and welcome. Oh yeah, someone redeemed a song whistle, and I never did it. Okay, can someone remind me to whistle a song after this game? It's probably going to be over. I should probably change characters because I'm not doing so well with this one. It's probably my focus though. I might be able to make it work. Who have we got? Hello! My dick is disordered. Oh, they brought it back. Nice. I wonder if I can ting with all of these. Let's see. Oh, I tinged with a lot of them, but it was not effective. How does it feel being interrupted by a tick? So I get interrupted by ticks a lot more often than people think. You see, a lot of ticks don't necessarily manifest verbally. Some of them are just thoughts. And to give an example, imagine trying to tell someone your phone number or do hard math while someone is just in the background shouting random numbers at you. And that's my brain all the time. Constantly I'm trying to think one thing and my brain's just shouting cock. And it's really annoying and it's really distracting and it's harder to learn, it's harder to focus, it's harder to just do anything. So it can be challenging, but it just makes me really grateful for the moments when I do focus because clarity feels good. Clarity feels like a rare, sweet little privilege. So, you know, at least it makes certain things feel good that wouldn't normally fly on your radar or even be noticed. Yes, Queen.
Play of the game.
Can you explain your own dick? Wow! Buy it now. So, I'm gonna come out of this for a sec. I'm gonna end this game. Escape. Exit to desktop. Okay, so, you're all simps. So this song that I promised ages ago and didn't whistle, I'm so sorry. He's probably not even here now, but I'll do it anyway. There you go. Do your tics get worse as you go through puberty? It's different for everybody. There's no specific story of how Tourette's develops.
Whenever I try to change my life for the better and get out of my rut and self-destructive habits and routines, I experience a vicious cycle of stress and regret. Without fail, I end up back in my rut but with less hope and energy than before. Any advice?
So my self-destructive habits, a lot of them are still here. For example, because I get tic rage and tic feelings like happiness, sadness, anger, love, fear, whatever, right? I have to sit beside my feelings and make sense of them and their origins before I genuinely let myself act on them. And because I have delayed anger, it puts me in danger. And so quite often when I interact with people, sometimes people can push my boundaries. Sometimes people can do very dangerous things or very upsetting things to me. And I'll tolerate it for too long and I'll put myself back in that situation over and over again for too long before I do something about it, when I don't have to put up with it. Because I end up with too much self-doubt, or it takes me too long to actually reconcile how I feel about a situation. And due to me having so many emotions that are benign and random and nonsensical, that I don't indulge. And so I have patterns like that I still need to work on. And sometimes I did end up in loops where I felt really helpless and hopeless and like things would never get better, and it really fed my depression. The scary thing about depression is dick is so much dick is when you feel trapped, you feel suicidal. And so losing hope can be the most dangerous thing you can ever do. I went through a cycle many times before I reached this point in my life where I'm genuinely happy and proud of who I am. It took a lot of tries. Nobody cartwheels through life perfectly. We all make mistakes and we all learn how to be better people progressively. So never persecute yourself for learning. Mistakes and poor decisions are necessary. It's harder when you're on a platform like Twitch or YouTube because your mistakes and your misjudgments, your poor opinions, before you manage to develop yourself, are immortalized on the camera. And so you're held accountable progressively for everything you get wrong. But you're lucky because chances are you're probably not in the public eye. And so every mistake you make is something you can grow from quietly. You can let the mistakes of your past be behind you and you can progress and keep stepping up forward. There is literally nothing stopping you from learning and keeping going. It took me years and years of an endless and horrible cycle of misery to get to the point where I feel good and confident and happy. And yes, I still fuck up from time to time, but things are still getting progressively better. I think knowing that you're in a cycle is the first step to breaking out of it. I'd suggest therapy, but I'd also suggest counting it as a victory and progress that you're even able to see what's going on, because so many people are in a cycle they can't see, and that leaves them far more trapped than you are. You have an exit strategy now, or at least you have a ladder, because from here, from recognizing where you are, you can climb up. And that's awesome. And I have hope for you, even if you don't have hope for you. So keep trying. It took me, I think, 27 years to get to a point where my life was beautiful and happy. So it's only the past 3 or 4 years of my existence that I've actually really genuinely loved and been grateful to be alive. So yeah, it's worth it. I am so glad I suffered this long for these moments. I genuinely am. And I hope you get to know what this feels like. So keep trying.
So I am quite impressed by how you conduct. It's pretty clear that this line of questions makes you feel more comfortable and reduces you. Promise to keep this. Gladly pledge tier 3 to support you, even if I don't use TwitchClips.
Thank you so much, Merrick. I really appreciate that, and thank you for the huge tip. Mama. First. This stream was super wholesome and motivating. Hell yeah. That's awesome. I've just realised it's 11:37. I should probably go in a minute. But it's been really awesome hanging out. Do you tick when you exercise? It's reduced when I exercise because I have something to focus on. Oh, I've got 4 dabs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks for redeeming those, guys. You have this dichotomous philosophy between both optimism and realness, and it's fantastic and refreshing to witness. I think that there is a certain level of factual, real, I think there's a factual, real basis to positivity. I genuinely feel like there is so much to appreciate that genuinely, provably exists. And there is a lot of evidence to suggest that life is beautiful, life is rare, life is a privilege. I think I don't think that it's dichotomous to be real and optimistic. I think it's a symptom of reality. I genuinely think that it can be a very emotional response to allow your experience to be marred by negativity. But genuinely, no matter how much bad shit happens, life is still beautiful. There is still so much awesomeness to appreciate about existence. Quantifiably so. How to get over jealousy? By releasing expectation. I feel like when you expect things, you hurt yourself, because interactions with others should not be about what they have to offer you, or what you gain. And so sometimes we're sexually jealous, sometimes we're jealous of people who get into relationships with someone else when we're attracted to them. Sometimes we're angry and we feel that it's unjust that other people have things that we don't. So when handling jealousy, it's not about the other person, it's about you. It's a symptom of your own expectation. We don't deserve things. That's not how the world works. There's no entity that just divides things between everyone according to what they deserve. Things just happen. You make what you do of your own life, and you're responsible for your own failings and successes. Feeling good about other people, like if you empathize with other human beings, you'll know that even if some stuff is going well for them, they still have shit in their lives to contend with. They still have stuff in their lives that's hard. So, you know, before you desperately wish you were in someone else's shoes, maybe you should find out everything about what's going on in their lives, because chances are it's not as perfect as it seems anyway. But even before that disillusionment that everyone has it better off than you, I'd say that if you waste time desperately wishing the downfall on others and being angry that other people have stuff, you'll never have the energy and time and mental fortitude to be the things you want to be, because you don't become those by denigrating others. Yeah, I'm not angry at other people when they succeed. I'm so glad that there's positivity and beauty and success in the world outside of my own. And learning from how other people succeed is so much more beneficial than being angry at other people for succeeding. Connect with others. Be glad, be in love with their happiness. Feel it vicariously through them instead of being angry that they got some. Because they didn't get some instead of you. There's plenty in your life to be happy about too. Just don't let bad experiences blind you to it. Appreciate the good shit in your life, because there's so much, you know?
Hey, I've seen you on TikTok a lot. You seem awesome, lol.
Thanks, Harlequin. Do you get embarrassed in public when people stare at you? I feel like self-confidence is a battle that's never really won, it's just always fought. Some things will embarrass you no matter who you are. No matter where you get to in your life, there will be things that make you feel less confident than others. There'll be days where you feel more confident than others. And some days I do not give a fuck. And other days I'll tick and then look around to see who saw because I feel a little bit embarrassed. It depends on the day. It depends on a lot of factors. My confidence fluctuates and isn't as consistent as I'd like it to be. But I'm okay with that and I'll keep fighting that battle. Is Anita on TikTok? Yes, I am. I am actually on TikTok. There are a lot of fake accounts, but mine is called Sweet Anita Official. Do you cast spells? No. I have not seen any provable information to suggest. I've seen no factual information to suggest that magic exists. I could be wrong, but for now I'm operating on the idea that you influence reality with your actions, not with your thoughts. So, you know, when I want the cup to move off the table, I pick it up. I don't try to just like will it off the table and try to levitate it. That's a cool name. Thanks for the prime. So, I did say I was gonna go in a couple of minutes, and it's been a couple of minutes. Wow, what's been going on? Thank you so much for chilling with me. I am so hungry. I've had 2 cups of coffee and some water. That's all I've consumed today, and I've got plenty to get on with. So, thanks for chilling. I wish I could hang more. And I will see you guys later. Let's do an end screen. See that? That's my bunnies. On top of my head there, that's Peter. And in my arms is Anya. They don't really like each other, but there's still hope for them, I feel. Thanks so much for the advice. Well, I hope it was helpful. I don't claim to know all the answers, but I'll give you my opinion when I can. Just remember, I'm a random woman on the internet. I know dick. I know dick. I know nothing, for sure, but my life experiences have led me to govern my existence this way. And it's helped me. I'm happy to help you guys if it does with that, but just know that I can be wrong, and often am. I'm still learning like everybody else. So get lots of opinions before you decide what you want to do. Get the best data possible, and pick the thing that's right for you. Just because it worked for me doesn't mean it's going to save you. Whatever you decide to do today, please remember everyone around you that you haven't connected with in a while. I can't recommend enough, if you're feeling down and you don't know how to make yourself smile, try to be the reason somebody else did, because that in itself can be awesome. And if you're feeling alone and you want someone to talk to, come and hang out on our Discord. You can find a link to the Discord server in the channel description below. The most active channels are for subs. But you don't have to be a sub to hang out. There are loads of voice channels, there are loads of text channels, there are loads of places to interact with people, so we can keep you company if you're feeling really alone. And we're very accepting of people who don't have many social skills. There are lots of people with anxiety and social anxiety there. Take things at your own pace. We're here for you. And with that, I'm gonna go. Love you guys.